experiments I've ever seen a teacher do.
These are anagrams. Just do the first one only. Go ahead and solve it. An anagram is rearrange the letters to form a word. Just one. Just rearrange those letters to form a word. When you're done, I need to see your hand raised. Keep going. We'll wait. Keep your hands up, please. Just do number one. Don't go on. Don't go on. If this isn't meant to be difficult. Okay, put your hands down. Let's just go to number two. Don't even worry about number one. Go to number two. Solve that one. Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number three. For number three, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given two different lists. This side of the room was given these three words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given bat. What would the word be? The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word? Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first two words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time? Jory?
Felt stupid.
You felt stupid? Okay.
I felt rushed.
Felt rushed? Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You're even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness. How many have heard of the term before? Let me see your hands. Learned helplessness is often used in the academic literature to mean what? Jordan?
Basically, they fail once or can't do something one time, and then they apply that.
This might be one of the best social experiments I've ever seen a teacher do.
These are
Okay, if we just go 1 Corinthians. Chapter 12. In verse 12. And for us the body is one and has many members, and all the members of that one body being many are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, we are all made to drink of the one Spirit. For the body is not one member but many. Shall the foot say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body? Is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body? Is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now God has set the members, every one of them, in the body as it has pleased them. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now they are many members, but yet one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble and necessary, and those members of the body which you think to be less honourable, upon these we bestow more abundant honour. and our comely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but God has tempered the body together, given more abundant honour to that part which lacked, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And it carries on with the rest of it. And there's another bit in chapter 10, verse 10. Oh, 2 Corinthians 10. Corinthians 10 verse 10. For his letters, they say, Paul's letters are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak and his speech contemptible. But let such a one think this, that such as we are in word by letters when we are absent, such will we be also indeed when we are present. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring by themselves by themselves, comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. So there was, the thing that I wanted, that got me thinking about these verses with that video, well, they were, the ones on the right side of the room were looking at the ones on the left, seeing how they thought they had the same task, and the ones on the left got there instantly, and just made the ones on the right feel stupid, feel whatever else they felt, frustrated, confused. Their confidence was gone because of seeing what the others were doing, and sometimes in the Lord we might feel a bit like that. If we look at, whether it's people who are better speakers or better evangelists or anything else, or just seem to have things a bit more together. What the Lord doesn't want us, comparing ourselves to one another like that. And you've got the parable of the talents. We won't read through, but they were all given their own, according to their own ability. They were all given the 10 talents, 5 or 1, and it was what they did with that counted. The one that had 5 and he got another 5. He was, in the Lord's eyes, he did the same as the one who got another 10 after he was given 10. And you think about the woman with the widow's 2 mites, how she put in just two mites into the treasury, and the Lord appreciated that offering more than the riches that were being chucked in of the people who had a lot to spare. And there's no, with those things, there's no comparison from one person to the next. But just that they were, that woman was just serving the Lord in as much as she could. It didn't matter what the others were doing as far as, between her and the Lord, what she was given. And you might think that the one with the 1 talent had a bit of that learned helplessness, maybe, if he saw what the others had and what the others were doing, the things that they were doing to serve the master and be profitable, and just thought, I can't do any of that, and I gave up on doing what little he could do. And we have things we can look at we can look at others to learn off, whether it's people around today or whether we look at the scriptures that, you read Hebrews 11 and you can learn and all that, and go through the books and learn off people's examples. But that's not comparing ourselves to one another. We look at 1 Samuel 17. The army was frozen. With listening to David's, listening to Goliath's challenge. And that fear would have just spread throughout and taken away whatever confidence the man next to him had. We just want to look at what David focused on. In verse 34, Saul's telling David that he's too young to go and fight Goliath. And David said to Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took the lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he rose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he's defied the armies of the living God. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion, and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said to David, go, the Lord be with thee. I can read somewhere else when because it was a Ziklag they burnt down, and all the people were talking about stoning David, and he said David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. And you've got other examples there of Gideon, when he was being called by the Lord. He asked for one sign after the next. He wasn't looking at himself. He wasn't looking at the problem. He was, but he wanted. He was looking for the Lord to show him a few signs. He wanted a few bits of confirmation of the Lord that He was with him. To give him the same confidence here that David had. Genesis 41 as well. You think of Solomon when when the Lord said, what do you want? And he asked for wisdom, saying, I don't know how to go out or come in, I don't know how to judge people. He looked to the Lord for his confidence, for his ability. Now we look at another one here with Joseph in 41 verse. So Pharaoh's had a dream and he wants someone to interpret it, and no one can. And the butler remembers how Joseph interpreted the dreams in the prison. In verse 15, and Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret. I have heard it say of thee that thou can understand the dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it's not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So Joseph might have looked at, he was still in prison and he'd just been brought out to speak to Pharaoh about this. He might have looked around at all the things that have gone wrong, and how he seemed to have been forgotten by the people he's helped, the people he's helped. But he could have looked around at all those things that had gone wrong and lost faith, but his confidence came from, he knew that God was with him. He knew that God had given him the dreams before when he was still with his brothers. God has answered, God has interpreted those dreams of the butler and the baker. He knows that this is where it comes from. It's not in me, it's from God who gives the answer. So you got all those examples of other people as well that whatever was going on, their confidence was in the Lord, their faith was in the Lord. And so, and that is confidence that doesn't get broken down by circumstances or whatever, which is confidence in ourselves easily can. Yeah, so that's all. Just a few thoughts that came when I saw that video about learn helplessness there. We don't compare ourselves to one another. Our strength doesn't come from ourselves, but focus on God.